It's Sanford, son. There's something special about this town.
Started as a week, ended up 4 months and 10 days. And, I could have talked myself into another couple months if it wasn't for the midges and summer coming.
Yeah, it's Florida heat and stuff like that. But this has been an amazing stop, an amazing stay, one of probably our all-time greatest stops in our history of being nomadic. So here's to Sanford.
Took us completely by surprise. There's so much awesome here, and it's hard to leave.
I'm staying on the path that I've chosen, straight up. Come my way and I'll see you at the top. 'Cause something's gonna happen in this story, and I can feel it coming, like the rising of the sun. Straight up. Calamity abounds and it's making me frown, 'cause humanity can't see what it's already found. That love is all around if we open our eyes and our hearts and our minds.
Back at anchor.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the view is changing and swinging side to side. I like that.
After 4 months at a dock with a couple little side trips.
Just one little side trip.
Well, you did spin the boat out of the slope a couple times.
Okay, so we did move the boat.
We actually anchored out once.
Yeah, so it feels, it's been a while. It's been a long time, and it feels really good to be back out swinging at anchor with no other boats in sight and just alligators and manatees for company.
And birds, lots of birds. And I think there's a wild boar over there
Yes.
that keeps grunting.
Yeah, we heard the wild boar, and yeah, it's back in nature. We're Butcher's Bend. The last anchorage we did before we got to Sandford. We're back here.
It's just like only 7 miles from Sanford, so not a big driving first day, but it's just really good to get back into the swing of things. But yeah, leaving Sanford was tough. It was bittersweet because that town really, really touched our hearts, and so much amazing there. So many friends made on the dock, at the marina, locally, Sabina and Eckert, and so many RVing friends who stopped in to see us.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It was a great, great winter stay.
Yeah, and we're gonna miss it, and we'll definitely find some reason by water or RV to be back in Sanford in the future.
For sure. I think that place will always remain special to our hearts. But now we are starting our cruise back down the St. Johns River, north up to Jacksonville. So
Yes.
if you remember, the St. Johns River is one of the few north-running rivers. So it's confusing when you're talking north-south and up and down.
Well, down means downstream, up means upstream.
Yeah.
So we're heading downstream.
We're heading downstream, north to Jacksonville,
Yes.
which will be our next. But we're going to take about 10 days or so to get back up to Jacksonville, maybe hit some anchorages that we missed on the way down to Sanford, coming up the St. Johns River.
It's okay. And, yeah, so it looks like it might be a little bit of a chilly and cloudy day with our solar barely putting anything out. So we'll be running the generator regardless.
Oh, all right. We'll see you
let's go
guys
cruise.
downstream. From Catfish Bend?
Catfish Bend. We are.
Does that mean our cat is fishing?
She's been trying to jump in with fish, but that's a different story. So we are somewhere along the St. Johns River, south of Astor, north of Pontoon. We didn't go very far. Where have we been so far?
So we last checked in. We had just arrived to Butcher's Bend, which was the first anchorage. And we ended up 2 nights there. It just felt so good to be still, to be away from people, to be away from boat projects. Well, I mean, you're never away from boat projects, but...
Yes, it was good. And we started catching up on work and other things, and just relaxing and staying fit on the water and all sorts of fun stuff. Paddleboarding. 2 nights there, then a very short, I guess like 5 or 6 nautical mile cruise, was it?
Yep, we went and anchored at a little oxbow just across the way from Blue Springs State Park, because we decided we were definitely going to get ashore there this time.
And we did. We went ashore. The Oxbow wasn't fabulous for staying the night, so we decided to move on a little bit further back to one of our favorite anchorages on the backside of Pontoon Island.
They're called the Pontoon Dead River, I think?
Yes, the Pontoon Dead River. And it's just one. We stayed there before, and we stayed there actually 3 nights this time, and just because it was wonderful.
So serene, so secluded. During the day, you've got some tour boats, you got fishing boats.
We had crew teams, rowing teams go by practicing.
And the spot we're able to find in the river there is just wide enough for us to allow traffic by easily, but enough swing room that we feel comfortable with a short scope. Because it's really hard to find a shallow spot there under like 15 feet.
And it's very narrow. But still, we got it tuned in just right so we wouldn't get to either shore. And beautiful. And we spent 3 days there. Again, caught up on projects and went on a few walks on the Pontoon Island, but mostly just caught up on catching our breath.
Work, yeah. For the last few weeks in getting ready to depart Sanford, we tend to work in kind of rotations. We'll go through a period of time where we're like working 10, 12-hour days getting content done and videos and that sort of stuff. And then we'll just kind of go more into maintenance mode where we might work 2 or 3 hours a day. And that's the mode that we had been in Sanford for quite a while as we were getting ready to leave with the solar projects and, saying goodbye to friends and everything else that we were doing there.
So did a lot of good catching up. It felt great. And then went down the river a little bit further, went under our first drawbridge there.
Yep, at State Road 44. And we were debating, do we want to just go ahead and get some miles? Because last time we're coming down, we went straight from Astor to Pontoon. And it's about 25 miles?
Yeah, something like that.
Which is a long day for us. I know for some of you cruisers, that's like...
nothing.
That's nothing, but that's a long cruising day for us. We decided that we wanted to try at least one more new anchorage to us between Astor and Pontoon. So we picked, there's 2 Oxbows on the way up.
Yeah, two good ones marked in Active Captain. We picked the Catfish Bend one here. It was wonderful when we got here. We came around the bend just to get out of sight of a one house down at the thing. We found this really great spot. And, well, you know that when you're boondocking in the desert, when you're RVing and you find a great boondocking spot, and, well, suddenly somebody else decides to camp, even though there's miles of desert in every direction, they camp right next to you, and then somebody else camps next to them. Well, we somehow ended up with 2 houseboats within a few hundred feet of us.
Running generators.
Yes.
The rope swing across the way should have been our first clue that this was a popular local spot.
True.
But, we could have moved on, but there's plenty of time in the day. We could have moved on to the next Oxbow. But we decided that is part of the St. John's experience. It is recreational. It's not all just being in secluded areas.
Yes.
You drive up on the weekend, and I know we'll probably see some of it today, some of the beach areas. You'll just see
pontoon boats tied up
and people out partying on the beach. So we kind of wanted to experience that too.
Yeah, and they only cranked up their music on the boat next to us for about 5 minutes. We got kind of a little bit worried when they started blasting some techno. It was pretty good techno, but it was like really friggin' loud. But only 5 minutes worth, and it's like, oh, okay. And then just back to just generator hums. So, it wasn't bad having close-in neighbors like this, but I definitely prefer the nobody around for miles feeling.
We got pretty spoiled at the last 2 anchorage having that level of seclusion, especially at night, where all you can hear is the chirping of the frogs and the bugs and the birds. And whatever else is out there.
Yeah, and speaking of at night, last night we had a Delta 4 launch, which was just clear enough that we could see the fireball coming up and over us here, which was really kind of cool. Always love to watch launches from the water.
So today we're going to go ahead and try to get in some miles.
Maybe out onto Lake George even.
Yep, we're going to get as far north as Astor. That's as far as the river portion of this goes on the south side. And if weather's still looking good, we might do the St. George crossing today.
Okay, there we go. Let's get on the water.
See you down the river.
There we go. Houseboat. Houseboat. Downside of vinyl isinglass in the morning.
Visibility restriction. Thankfully nothing out here but gorgeous stuff to look at.
And our GPS issues. Old iPad.
Working
Knows the
great.
speed. New navigation iPad. Things are going 0 knots. Time to send it back to Apple. are just pulled into Seven Sisters Anchorage, these are the Seven Sisters Islands around us.
This is just south of the Murphy Island anchorage that we stopped at on the way up the St. Johns River back in October. There's another anchorage in the area that we wanted to check out. But we've had 2 others since we got here.
Yeah, so when we last did a video update, we were at the
rope swing anchorage.
Yeah,
what I'm calling it.
The Catfish Bend, where all the houseboats came and crashed our party. It was not a very unpleasant time at all having them as neighbors, but we prefer having no neighbors at all when we're out anchoring. And so where did we go after that?
So we had a long cruising day. We decided to get some miles in. We got to Astor. Weather was looking good. So we proceeded to doing our Lake George crossing, which it is the Florida's second largest lake. So it is something you want to watch the weather on, because if there's bad weather, it can get rather choppy.
Yeah, apparently it can get very rough, but we had a decent weather window. It was a little bit windy, but not too bad. And went out, got a chance to exercise the engines and sped across the lake. And went to the Salt Cove anchorage, which is down in the northwest corner of the lake near the exit of the Salt Springs Run.
So really good protected anchorage from all but direct east winds, and since the winds are from the north, it was pretty pleasant. Dropped the dinghy and went up the Salt Springs Run. Well,
yeah, it's actually about a 5-mile dinghy ride all the way up to the actual Salt Springs itself, where the water is all clear and apparently a little bit salty, but I didn't taste it.
I did.
Oh yeah,
it was
salty.
It was
okay,
salty,
good.
Yes.
It lives up to its name, but it's actually a Florida state park, I believe, and
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it is, and it's got a swimming beach and area, and a lot of people bring their boats all the way up there and toss anchors and swim, and so we did that off our dinghy. It's the first time we've tossed our anchor on the dinghy and hopped off the side and went swimming, which was quite fun.
It was really good to swim in clear water, semi-fresh, and not have that fear of alligators biting your toes off, or feet off, or legs off. So that was good.
You more had the fear of a pontoon boat running you over, perhaps, and chopping your leg off. So I'd rather deal with the alligators. But it was actually a really pleasant trip up. Now I see why people go to Silver Glen Springs, because it's a lot quicker to get to from the lake. Silver Glen Springs is right there by Lake George, whereas Salt Springs, you got to go 5 miles up a river.
Thankfully, not much of it is a no-wake zone, so you can go fast.
Yes.
For much of it, so that cuts down on the time tremendously. But it was a fun little side anchorage. We decided to go ahead and anchor out in Lake George that evening because the conditions were very pleasant for it.
We were very protected. It was really nice. We were almost a half mile from shore, so we were just out in the middle of the great wide open, and really kind of enjoyed that, just the looking out the windows and just seeing such distance and openness all around us, which is really neat.
So in the morning we got up and did a short little putter over to Ocklawaha, and this time we anchored to the south of the city, which is about a mile-ish dinghy ride to the city dock.
Yeah, probably a mile, maybe even.
But you actually see the city dock from this anchorage, and it's right near the entrance to the Ocklawaha River,
otherwise known as the Jurassic Park River because of the wild, crazy nature.
So it was a great anchorage, especially since we still had the northerly winds, so it was nice and protected there. Did a dinghy ride over to the town dock, went and got my shrimp at Shrimps R Us again.
Yeah, it's got the shrimp fix. Cherie has been jonesing for that shrimp for the past week. Of make sure we stop in Ocklawaha. We got to do Ocklawaha.
Past 4 months.
Okay, past 4 months, yes. and had to make sure we weren't there because one day they're closed is Monday, so we had to be there on Sunday, or we were going to anchor for 2 days and stay till Tuesday. And also, yeah, the food's amazing. The fish I had was some of the best I've ever had again. And then afterwards, we did a nice walk through town, stretched our legs.
Mm-hmm. And then we did, on the dinghy ride back, we went ahead and took the dink up the Ocklawaha River.
This little passage the locals call Jurassic Park, or at least according to one of the active captain reviews we just saw.
Dinghied up the Ocklawaha River, which is the old river that used to connect from the St. Johns to Silver Springs, and old classic riverboat to this twisty, very twisty little river up to the old resorts and stuff, but then they put a dam on it, and now it's basically just a dead end of nature. And we've heard, at least an active captain, somebody said that the locals refer to this as Jurassic Park, and I can see why. It is beautiful. I expect to see a brontosaurus just around any corner. It would be appropriate.
All these little side waterways off the St. John's are amazing to explore, and if you're just passing through, you'll miss a lot of them. And to me, they're a big part of the experience.
Yeah. I was wishing for more birds, but oh well. Yeah, it was
You were wishing for more brontosaurus.
Okay, I was actually looking for dinosaurs because it really does seem like there should be a dinosaur around each bend.
I actually played the theme song to Jurassic Park, and really, you were expecting pterodactyls to come flying out of the trees, but it's really cool because the trees are so much taller there than other parts of the river that we've seen, and all the lily pads on the side. It was just, it was really beautiful. And then we came back, and the boat was nicely anchored at the mouth of that, and spent a pleasant evening actually watching lights kind of drift back and forth.
Yeah, we had Jurassic Park on one side, the little lights of Ocklawaha on the other. Hardly any traffic on the river, which has been kind of surprising. We've seen, I think, total of 2 other cruising boats. We saw one looper boat today. But yeah, it's been surprisingly lack of traffic, but it
makes me kind of worried. Like, what's wrong here? Why aren't more people up here exploring the St. John's River? It really is.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful and a hidden gem, and I really hope more people will take the time off of doing an adventure like the Great Loop and do this, because it is just really a magical exploration.
Yeah. I just love this inland cruising with land on all sides and twisty routes to take the boat down and stuff. It's my kind of cruising. I really enjoy river cruising.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when we're RVing, we love water views,
and we love twisty back roads. So this is exactly what we crave when we're RVing too.
So I think we really enjoy the intersection of water and land. That seems to be our thing, because this cruise is really jiving with me.
Cool.
We did a little putter up here, another about 8-10 miles this morning up
11
here
or 12 or something. Yeah.
So this is right off of, I guess the nearest town is Satsuma.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep.
Yeah, we're kind of near where the train bridge crosses, so we'll be going under a bridge tomorrow, and working our way to Palatka next.
Yep, gonna try to dock at Corky Bell's and have some lunch or dinner there, and then maybe anchor off of the downtown area of Palatka. We'll see how it all transpires. But we are then we're gonna do some major miles. We're gonna kind of get up to the Green Cove Springs area from there. At least that's the plan.
Yeah, and only a few more days left, because we're due in
Jacksonville
on Friday. So today is Monday.
Yeah, they go so fast.
Go so fast.
Just like last cruise, it's like we talked to so many cruisers who do the St. John's River. Like, they'd come down and visit us in Sanford and be our dock neighbors down there, and they'd taken 2 or 3 days to do the trip, and they'll take 2 or 3 days to get back. I don't know. 2 weeks just doesn't seem to be enough. So many places I want to explore. I'm glad we're getting different anchorages in this time.
Yeah, and even aside from exploring, they're just such pleasant places to be at home. With this being our work days, because we are working, and so we have our office views, but we have tranquil nature all around us, swinging at the hook.
Things to do, and our energy systems are well honed in.
Solar's been working great. We've been generating. We've cut our generator time in half.
Yeah, so I have been taking averages on our trip down here over 2 weeks. We averaged about 4.3 generator hours per day is what it came out to, and we did have some air conditioning time then, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this trip so far, we're on day 8. We're averaging 2.3, and we have had 1 day of needing air conditioning.
Yeah,
I think that's about actually on par for what it was on the way down.
And we've had basically, like, yesterday was almost no solar day. It was so gloomy and overcast, but we've had a couple good solar days and a couple really bad solar days, so it's all balancing out.
But it seems that the 720 watts up there are keeping up with our daily usage on a good Sunday.
Daytime usage.
Yep.
Yeah,
but not our nighttime usage. Right. So we are having to run the generator to replenish the nighttime usage because of all these
refrigerators and freezers and yeah, hopefully once we have the 4 panels going, we'll be able to hopefully be close to break even, and particularly once we can cut out once everything is switched to 24 volt refrigeration, maybe we'll actually even be able to be generator free a lot of the time.
That would be nice. But the generator's not that annoying. It is nice and quiet. Yeah. And it's just sips fuel. So really great choice, I think, going with that 6 kilowatt generator, downsizing that. So we'll keep recording the results and see just how much of an impact the solar is making on our energy usage, which it's really cool to see.
Kiki, you've got a convoy escorting you. New wildlife encounter of the day.
Last night at anchor.
Oh my gosh, it's gone so fast. It's been 10, 11 nights, but we are here back at one of our favorite anchorages in Black Creek.
So yeah, we made.
It's gone so fast.
I know. It's crazy. You think, 140 miles, 10 days. We got plenty of time. Oh, I think a slow pace is what we're made for right now.
Yeah, we're loving the slow pace. Although we did have a long day driving yesterday, but let's catch people up. So
yeah, we left Seven Sisters, and we went and docked at Corky Bells, which is a restaurant in Palatka that has a nice long dock, and it's a boat up restaurant.
Yes.
And they gave us permission to stay overnight at our own risk, of course.
Yeah, so it was great. It was actually good practice to dock without dock hands and stuff, and in wind, and it was a really good place to be because it was really gusty winds, actually 30, 40 mile an hour winds coming, but the way the dock was positioned in the ridge for Corky Bells, we hardly felt any of the wind, which was great.
Yeah, they're off on a nice little bluff, so it was a good place to wait out the high winds, get a little bit of shore time. There is a grocery store kind of across the street and a tractor supply, so it's also a good place if you need to stop and reprovision along the St. Johns River. We overstocked, so we had no need for reprovisioning.
We've had more food on board than we ever could need. I think we definitely overdid it.
Yeah, maybe I overplayed a little bit. So we stayed overnight at Corky Bells, had a nice lunch there, very pleasant evening, and shoved off in the morning, and we did our, 32 miles.
Yes, long, 32 nautical miles, long day on the water, which is beautiful, though. Actually got to experiment with the autopilot, and for actually, I think, more than 2/3 of the trip, didn't touch the steering wheel once, let the autopilot drive. And was just learning the ins and outs of how to sync our chart plotter and plan routes and have them go to the autopilot, which was very fun.
I'm learning how our autopilot and our radar works, just experimenting with the fun stuff I can do. So, the pink line is our autopilot that we are auto tracking. So I just have to now keep a watch out for things popping up in front of us.
Like crab pots,
but so far it's been good. And then the yellow is showing things, radar echoes, and like I've been able to see, if I zoom in, that little thing here is that sailboat we just passed that's anchored off over there. Stuff that would be handy to see if we were in the dark.
Or fog.
Or fog and stuff like that, but practicing while I can actually see to compare what I'm seeing on radar with what I'm seeing with my eyes is really good practice.
Yes, nice long cruise. We just took shifts on it. When I like my hands on the steering wheel, so I don't play around with autopilot. For me, part of the fun is the steering, so I
like playing with the tech. I'm still steering with a button as opposed to a wheel. Hey.
I don't get it. Whatever.
Okay.
It was a really 5 hours of cruising, which for us is a long day. But it's really great because when you're cruising at the speeds we do, one of us can go and check in on work, check in do emails and do stuff.
Check in on the flock of birds following us.
Oh my gosh, yes, we had this flock of birds. I'm calling them a squadron.
A squadron.
Of birds
it was a squadron.
That followed us for a good 2 or 3 hours. It was hilarious.
They were just in our wake right behind us. It was amazing.
But yeah, we got into the Green Coast Springs area without. Maybe we'd just dock off this or anchor off the city at one of the 2 public anchorages over there. But we said, you know what?
Sorry, I can't search the web on Apple Watch.
I didn't say, hey Siri. Seriously.
Oh, goodness. She gets uppity sometimes.
So we said, no, we really were more craving another night in seclusion.
Yeah, so we came up here to Black Creek, where this is where we were when we did the whole dinghy motor swap on our way up the river. Back here, got some paddle boarding in, just enjoying the nature and the seclusion, and it was actually a good place to avoid some wind as well. And we decided to actually stay here 2 nights, just to get our last night here. And now we've got to go get fueled up and pumped out at Doctor's Lake on our way back to Ortega Landing.
Yep. So we are gonna make those final miles, and then we're back into civilization. And we have no clue what we're doing after or Jacksonville. We just we're going there for a couple of weeks. Hopefully get the solar panel things mounted, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah, get this covered up.
All right. Thanks for joining us on this northbound journey. Down the St. Johns River.
Heading north, down the river. Bye.
If you like these videos, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We do these videos just for fun. So, your enthusiasm fuels the next one.